and to all those black players who came before me to give it everything I had. Although I played in the Negro Leagues for a relatively short time, the experience meant a lot to me because it gave me an opportunity to play high-class baseball and develop my skills as a professional. When I read these stories and look at the artwork, I am flooded by memories of years past and grateful for Kadir's fresh approach to the subject. I know that I wouldn't have made it in baseball had these legends not paved the way for me. Hank Aaron, Atlanta, Georgia, May 2007. First inning. Beginnings. I ain't ever had a job. I just always played baseball. Satchel Paige. Seems like we've been playing baseball for a mighty long time, at least as long as we've been free. Baseball's the best game there ever was. It's a beautifully designed game that requires a quick wit, a strong body, and a cool head. They say baseball was invented by a fella named Abner Doubleday in Cooperstown, New York, back in the mid-1800s, but that is just another tall tale, 'cause no one really knows for sure. But one thing is for sure, soon after that, you could find a baseball game being played just about everywhere in this grand old country of ours, particularly in the big cities like New York and Chicago. People of all types love to play and watch the game. Irish, Italian, German, Cuban, Puerto Rican, and African American. But back then we were called Negro or colored. Every neighborhood and every town had a team, and they would all play one another. Before long, there were professional teams and organized leagues. In the mid-1860s, most professional baseball teams had only white ball players. There were a number of Negroes who did play, though they weren't treated any better than most Negroes in the country at the time. Truth is, those poor fellas were treated downright disgracefully. They were called just about every horrible name in the book, and then some. Several teams wouldn't play another team if it had a Negro on the roster, and in some states, Negroes weren't allowed to play at all. When we did play, we got the wrong directions from our manager and were targets for opposing pitchers and base runners, which was a dangerous thing, because back in those days, no one wore any type of protective gear, not even the catcher. Well, that was until Bud Fowler, the first Negro to play professional baseball, came along. Too many times he was forced to leave the field on crutches after being spiked by a base runner. Now, this was a terrible thing, but some good came out of it. His scarred shins gave him the idea to attach wooden staves from a barrel to his legs for protection. They were the first shin guards and the first protective gear in baseball. They just about saved his legs and his baseball career, or what was left of it anyway. And don't you know that those white fellas tried like the dickens to break his shin guards? It just gave them a little more ambition to slide feet first when a Negro was covering the base. Despite the cruel treatment Negroes received, there were a few who became quite good ball players, like brothers Wellday and Moses Fleetwood Walker, Charlie Grant, Pete Hill, Saul White, Grant Home Run Johnson, Ben Taylor, and Frank Grant. These fellas were great ball players by any measure, but none of that mattered, 'cause they were still Negroes, and most white ball players didn't want to play alongside them. By the late 1800s, Negroes began to disappear from professional baseball teams and were soon gone from them altogether. Now, there was never any written rule that prohibited Negroes from playing professional baseball, but soon after 1887, somehow Negroes all over couldn't get on a professional baseball team. Come to find out that all the white owners had gotten together in secret and decided to do away with Negroes in professional baseball. They agreed not to add any more to their teams and to let go of the ones they had. Called it a gentleman's agreement. And I'll tell you this, those gentlemen held to that agreement for almost 60 years. So, what were we Negroes left to do? We loved to play baseball, and a lot of guys had genuine talent. Sure, we could play against small semi-pro teams, which paid little.